Dante Grant and the Two Little and Brilliant Elephants. Once upon a time there was a valiant boy called Dante Grant. He was on the way to see his father, George Grant, when he decided to take a shortcut through Kensington Gardens. It wasn't long before Dante got lost. He looked around, but all he could see were trees. Nervously, he fell into his bag for his favorite toy, Mr. Hunter Duck. But Mr. Hunter Duck was nowhere to be found. Dante began to panic. He felt sure he had picked Mr. Hunter Duck. To make matters worse, he was starting to feel hungry. Unexpectedly, he saw a little brilliant elephant dressed in a gray scarf disappearing into the trees. How odd, thought Dante. For the want of anything better to do, he decided to follow the peculiarly dressed elephant. Perhaps it could tell him the way out of the forest. Eventually, Dante reached a clearing. In the clearing were the houses, one made from carrots, one made from sausage, and one made from pizza. Dante could feel his tummy rumbling. Looking at the house, nothing to ease his hunger. "Hello," he called. "Is anybody there?" Nobody replied. Dante looked at the roof on the closest house and wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else's chimney. Obviously, it would be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it would be considered acceptable to nibble the odd fixture, or lick the odd fitting, in a time of need. A cackle broke through the air, giving Dante a fright. A witch jumped into the space in front of the houses. She was carrying a cage. In that cage was Mr. Hunter Duck. "Mr. Hunter Duck!" shouted Dante. He turned to the witch. "That's my toy." The witch just struggled. "Give Mr. Hunter Duck back!" cried Dante. "Not on your Nelly," said the witch. Let's let Mr. Hunter Duck out of that cage," before she could reply to Little and Brilliant Elephant's rush. In front of the footpath, on the other side of the clearing, Dante recognized the one in the great scarf that he had seen earlier. The witch seemed to recognize him too. "Hello, big elephant," said the witch. "Good morning." The elephant noticed Mr. Hunter Duck. "Who is this?" "That's Mr. Hunter Duck," explained the witch. "Oh, Mr. Hunter Duck will look lovely in my house. Give it to me," demanded the elephant. The witch shook her head. "Mr. Hunter Duck is staying with me." Excuse me," Dante interrupted. "Mr. Hunter Duck lives with me, and not in a cage." Big Elephant ignored him. "Is there nothing I'll try?" he asked the witch. The witch thought for a moment, then said, "I do like to be entertained. I'll release him to anybody who can eat a whole front door." Big Elephant looked at the house made from pizza and said, "No problem. I could eat an entire house made from pizza if I wanted to." "That's nothing," said the next elephant. "I could eat 2 houses." "There's no need to show off," said the witch, "just eat one front door, and I'll let you have Mr. Hunter Duck." Dante watched, feeling very worried. He didn't want the witch to give Mr. Hunter Duck to Big Elephant. He didn't think Mr. Hunter Duck would like living with a little and brilliant elephant away from his house and all his other toys. The other one elephants watched while Big Elephant put on his bib and withdrew a knife and fork from his pocket. "I'll eat this whole house," said Big Elephant. "Just you watch." Big Elephant pulled off a corner of the front door of the house, made from sausage. He gulped it down smelling, and went back for more, and more and more. Eventually, Big Elephant started to get bigger, just a little bit bigger at first, but after a few more forkfuls of sausage, he grew to the size of a large snowball, and he was every bit as round. "I don't feel too good," said Big Elephant. Suddenly, he started to roll. He'd grown so round that he could no longer balance. "Help!" he cried as he rolled down a slope into the forest. Big Elephant never finished eating the front door made from sausage, and Mr. Hunter Duck remained trapped in the witch cage. Average Elephant stepped out and approached the house made from pizza. "I'll eat this whole house," said Average Elephant. "Just you watch." Average Elephant pulled off a corner of the front door of the house made from pizza. She gulped it down smiling and went back for more, and more, and more. After a while, Average Elephant started to look a little queasy. She grew greener and greener. A woodcutter walked into the clearing. "What this butch doing here?" he asked. "I'm not a butch, I am an elephant," said Average Elephant. "It talks!" exclaimed the woodcutter. "Those talking bushes are the worst kind. I'd better take it away before somebody gets hurt." "No, wait!" cried Average Elephant, as the woodcutter picked her up. But the woodcutter ignored her cries and carried the elephant away under his arm. Average Elephant never finished eating the front door made from pizza, and Mr. Hunter Duck remained trapped in the witch cage. "That's it," said the witch. "I win. I get to keep Mr. Hunter Duck." "No, so fast," said Dante. "There is still one front door to go. The front door of the house made from carrots, and I haven't had a turn yet." "I don't have to give you a turn," laughed the witch. "My game, my rules." The woodcutter's voice carried through the forest. "I think you should give him a change. It's only fair." "Fine," said the witch. "But you saw what happened to the elephants. He won't last long." "I'll be right back," said Dante. "What?" said the witch. "Where's your sense of impotence? Thought you wanted Mr. Hunter Duck back?" Dante ignored the witch and gathered a hefty pile of sticks. He came back to clearing and started a small campfire. Carefully he broke off a piece of the door of the house made from carrots, and toasted it over the fire. Once it had cooked and cooled just a little, he took a big. He quickly devoured the whole piece. Dante sat down on a nearby log. "You fail," cackled the witch. "You were supposed to eat the wall door." "I haven't finished it," explained Dante. "I am just waiting for my food to go down." When Dante's food had digested, he broke off another piece of the door, made from carrots. Once more he toasted his foot over the fire and waited for it to cool. Just a little he ate it at leisurely pace, then wanted for it to digest. Eventually, after several sittings, Dante was down to the final piece of the door, made from the carrots. Carefully he toasted it and allowed it to cool just a little. He finished his final course. Dante had eaten the entire front door of the house made from carrots. The witch stamped her foot angrily. "You must have tricked me," she said. "I don't reward cheating." "I don't think so," said a voice. It was the woodcutter. He walked back into the clearing, carrying his axe. "This little boy won fair and square. Now hand over Mr. Hunter Dog, or I will chop your broomstick in half." The witch looked horrified. She grabbed her broomstick and placed it behind her. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Dante hurried over and grabbed Mr. Hunter Duck. Chicken Duck, his favorite toy, was all right. Fortunately, Mr. Hunter Duck was unharmed. Dante thanked the woodcutter, grabbed a quick souvenir, and hurried on to meet George. It was starting to get dark. When Dante got to George's house, his father threw his arms around him. "I was so worried," cried George. "You are very late." As Dante described his day, he could tell that George didn't believe him, so he grabbed a napkin from his pocket. "What's that?" asked George. Dante unwrapped a doorknob made from sausage pudding, he said. George almost fell off his chair. The end.